And the live stream password is not here.
I'd say avoid the live stream. At most you get 2-3 people. Just upload the recording later.
I do recall there were issues that when we didn't have Rabbi.
Right, because she does multi.
No. We set this computer up specifically for the next 6 weeks, and I even got a lesson in how to operate it.
Okay.
Well, she complains all the time anyway, so I assume.
Good time. I don't know what it's looking for. Verify it's you. You can get more identities there. Scroll that thing down.
Oh,
See that blue thing?
yeah.
Scroll down. What are you?
I'm webmaster. Can you scroll it down? I couldn't scroll it down. Webmaster.
Whoops.
What about manage passwords? It's webmaster.
This is why we're known as the technological synagogue.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. That's not a. So it's webmaster. There's only 3 of them here. Educator, admin, and Andrea Rose McNellis.
Try it, admin. See what that. I don't think that's going to work. No.
It's none of these 3 that are in here.
Yeah.
You have to type something
No,
else.
the problem is the YouTube stream. I'm sorry, I don't do this every week, so just give me a minute.
It says Webmaster TBE Riv.
Oh.
That's not this one.
Yes. No, that's right. That's not this one. So we can try it.
You have to sign in using a Google account. You're signed into the wrong one. That's probably what it is. It says Zoom, though. That's different. I just don't think that's it. I thought it had I say don't do the stream. You're going to spend all your time doing this. Let's just start. Record
Okay.
it, post it later. Yeah.
Okay, we're just going to have to skip the YouTube stream this week. So Shabbat Shalom, everybody. I'm not Rabbi Singer. Rabbi Singer is on sabbatical for about 6 weeks, and we have people that are going to be standing in for her. And so I want to say Shabbat Shalom to everybody, and also let you know it's going to be a little unusual tonight because I'm going to be over here and I'm going to be over there. So you'll see me going back and forth a lot. For our opening song, we're going to do Hine Ma Tov.
שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, מה טוב שבת אחים גם היה הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבת אחים גם יחד 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 הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבת אחים גם יחד.
Okay. Thank you. Next, we'll have Carol Lee come up and light the candles with Rena's help.
Oh, yes. Okay, the light before you do the prayer.
Read the English and
You want me to do the English first? Okay. Well, here, let me. Oh, light.
All right. Page 120.
That's going to be. Okay. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Okay, next for the Kiddush, Morris.
Should I do it from here? All right. Wink. Make sure I don't set it on fire.
Just the
I always
height.
wondered why that never happened. It could have one of these years. Tempt fate. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodesho b'ahava uvratzon chinchilanu, zikaron le'maaseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila le'mikra'e kodesh, zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim, ki vanu v'acharta ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. Amen. Okay.
Thank you. L'chaim. Okay. For our next song, we're going to do Devorah's song. And the reason we decided to do this is during the pandemic, Rena had recorded 2 songs with me and Morris that we did, where there was 5 of me and a few of them. And we're going to do both of those tonight, and Devorah's song was one of those.
Stripped down. Yeah, there won't be 5 of Jordy. It's at least 2, yes.
They didn't show up, those guys.
The other Jorys. That's right. Go ahead, if you can do it, do it. This is fine.
You ready?
Oh, yeah. Arise, arise, Devorah, arise, arise, and sing a song. Arise, arise, Devorah, Uri, Uri, Dabri, Shir. Devorah the prophet was a judge in Israel. She sat beneath her palm tree on a hill. And people came from everywhere just to hear her judgments, honest and fair. Devorah the prophet, Devorah, a mother in Israel. Arise, arise, Devorah, arise, arise, and sing a song. Arise, arise, Devorah, Uri, Uri, Dabri, Shir. Devorah the prophet was courageous, strong, and wise. Her people lived in peace for 40 years. The 12 tribes lived together as one for the first time since the world had begun. Devorah the prophet, Devorah, a mother in Israel. Arise, arise, Devorah, arise, arise, and sing a song. Arise, arise, Devorah, Uri, Uri, Dabri, Shir. Arise, Devorah, arise and sing our song. Arise, Devorah, Uri, Uri, Dabri, Shir. Uri, Uri, Dabri, Shir. Devorah the prophet, a woman of fire, her torch in hand. She led the Israelites to victory. Baruch said, Devorah, I cannot fight unless you are standing right by my side. Devorah the prophet, Devorah, a mother in Israel. Arise, arise, Devorah, arise, arise, and sing a song. Arise, arise, Devorah, Uri, Uri, Dabri, Shir. Arise, arise, Devorah, arise, arise, and sing a song. Arise, arise, Devorah, Uri, Uri, Dabri, Shir. Uri, Uri, Dabri, Shir.
Nice.
Okay, thank you again. This is tough being, see, there's at least two of me up here, right? Yeah, that's right. Okay, on page 124, you can read along with me. I'm not sure what page it is in the little book. It's 126, page 6. Thank you. We enter this sanctuary to welcome Shabbat. Within these walls, we sit surrounded by numberless generations. Our ancestors built the synagogue as a visible sign of God's presence in their midst. Throughout our long history and our endless wanderings, it has endured, a beacon of truth, love, and justice for all humanity. Its presence guided our ancestors to lives of righteousness, holding up to them a vision of their truest selves. Now we, in our turn, come into the sanctuary to affirm the sacredness of our lives. May we enter this place in peace. May holiness wrap around us as we cross its threshold. Weariness, doubt, the flaws within our human hearts, the harshness of the weak, let these drop away at the door. In the brightness of Shabbat, let peace settle upon us as we lift up our hearts in prayer as a sacred community. We're now going to do the Hatzi Kaddish, followed by the Baruch Hu. And remember to please rise for the Baruch Hu.
That's Jory number 3 on the keyboard tonight. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וביום איכון ובחייך לכל בית ישראל בגלגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן יהי שמי רבה מברך לעלל ולעלמי עלמיה יתברך יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה לעילא ולעילא לכל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דהרן בעלמא תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמא ויאמרו אמן. All right, we rise for the Baruch Hu. 146, there we go, page 146. Ya la la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, Baruch Hu et Adonai. המבורך, ברוך אדוני המבורך, לעולם ועד, לעולם, 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 לעולם. La 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 Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai. Yai lai 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 lai.
You may be seated.
You may be seated.
Okay, please join me on page 266. Does somebody know what that is in the little book? Uh, 148 in the little book. Okay, we're going to read the English of the Avad Olam, and then we will sing it in Hebrew. In each age, we receive and transmit Torah. At each moment, we are addressed by the world. In each age, we are challenged by our ancient teaching. At each moment, we stand face to face with the truth. In each age, we add wisdom to that which has gone before. At each moment, the knowing heart is filled with wonder. In each age, the children of Torah become its builders and seek to set the world firm on a foundation of truth. And the theme of this is actually related to the theme of the Devar. That's why I chose to read it.
Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amecha ahavta, Amecha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta, Otanu limadeta, Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, V'shavenu u'kumeinu, Nasiach bechukecha, V'nizvach b'divrei Toratecha. Ub'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu, u'bahem negei yomam yomam v'layla. Ve'ahavatcha al tasir mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael, ohev amo Yisrael.
And now we're going to do the Shema. So please rise. just keep this thing on, huh?
Yeah, you just wear it the whole time, yeah. You probably walk a whole mile tonight.
Yeah.
That's my guess, a whole mile. I bet you have your phone on and said you walked a whole mile tonight. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Okay, I'd like to call Carol Lee up to the bema to lead us in the Via Hafta, which is on page 268, page 150 in the little book.
Oh, thank you.
There you go.
Tallness. Thank you. Please join me. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol meotecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha ושרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתיכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אמת.
Thank you, Carol Lee. So we're next going to do the Mi Chamocha, which is the song that we sang after we left Egypt. And that is on page 270, page 152 in the little book.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש.
נורא
תהילות
עושה
פלא,
נורא
מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה. זה אלי ענו ואמרו, זה אלי ענו ואמרו, אדוני אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. נורא תהילות עושה פלא, נורא תהילות עושה פלא, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד.
Thank you. You can join me on page 271. I'm going to read the English of the Hashkivenu. Give us a place to rest, O God. Shelter us in the long, soft evening shadows of your truth. You are true protection and safety. In your presence we find love and acceptance. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. We're now going to do Vishamru on page 272.
This one has two jories in it. It has guitar jory and keyboard jory. It's remarkable.
Number 4 and 5.
Oh, that's right. Jory's 4 and 5. I stand corrected. Yes. It's funny, when the board meets, Jory is the only one who has to be there because they'll reach quorum. Ba-dum-bum. Where were you? Yeah, thank you, Adam. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. בני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת Shabbat vayinafash. Shabbat vayinafash. Shabbat vayinafash veshamru b'nei Yisrael et hashabat לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. Nice. All right.
Hey, thank you, guys. Very nicely done.
If you don't say so yourself.
Okay. Now we are going to do the tefillah, which starts on page 273.
Oh, you okay? You good?
Please rise.
Did you unplug? Yes, I unplugged. Jory, unplugged. Tonight on MTV. You can do this one. Adonai sefatai, sefatai tiftach, ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai sefatai, sefatai tiftach, ufi yagid tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim v'Konei Hakol v'Zocher Chasdei Avot ve'imahot U'mevii Geula lefnei bneihem leman Shemo be'ahava Melech Ozer Moshiach u'Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Abraham ve'ezrat Sarah Atah gibor le'olam Adonai Mechayeh hakol atah Rav lechoshia morid hatal Mechalkel chayim bechesed Mechayeh hakol berachamim rabim Somech noflim ve'rofei cholim U'matir asurim Umekayem emunato lishenei afar michamocha ba'al gevurot umidom elach Melech meimit umechaye umatzmiach Yeshua vene'eman atah lechachayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai mechaye hakol Atah kadosh v'shimecha kadosh u'kedoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
Please pray silently and then sit down when you're done. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, okay. There's a song that is one of Jory's favorites, actually. It's by a favorite group of his called King Crimson, and it's called Peace and End. It's actually, it's one part of like a 3-part thing on that album, but we're only doing 1/3 of it, apparently. Peace is a word of the sea and the wind. Peace is a bird who sings as you smile. Peace is the love of a foe as a friend. Peace is the love you bring to a child searching for me. You look everywhere except beside you, searching for you. You look everywhere but not inside you. Peace is a stream from the heart of a man. Peace is a man whose breath is the dawn. Peace is a dawn on a day without end. Peace is the end, like death of the war.
Thank you again.
That's good.
And now our thoughts turn to those in our congregation, family, and friends that are undergoing illness or of the mind or body. On the Misha Berach list this week, we have Jonathan Davidson, Ben Henderson, Kara Gilman, Rabbi Steve Robbins, Gloria Mangus, Leslie Farris, Pamela Mangus, Johnny Seacott, Larry Miller, Martha Miller, Junie Richmond, Fernando Guerrero, Bert Harbor. Does anyone else have a name they would like to announce? Okay, I'm going to need the names on Zoom. Stephanie Soloway, Amy Morton, Robin Kurland, Ruth Barrett, Eleanor Gailey, Portia Becca, Raul Camacho, Vicky Endres, Regina Richards. Anyone else have a name? They can unmute themselves and say it. Okay, and we're going to do the Lisa Levine version of the Misha Berach, which I think can be found on the inside back cover. I have some of the books, or is it the front cover?
מי שברך אבותינו, אברהם, יצחק ויעקב. מי שברך אמותינו, שרה, רבקה, לאה ורחל. May the one who blessed our mothers, may the one who blessed our fathers, hear our prayer, 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 and bless us as well. Bless us with the power of your healing. Bless us with the power of your hope. May our hearts be filled with understanding and strengthened by the power of your love. Bless us with a vision for tomorrow. Help us to reach out to those in pain. May the warmth of friendship ease our sorrow. Give us courage, give us faith, show us the way. Mi sheberach avoteinu, mi sheberach imotenu. Hear our prayer, 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 and bless us as well. Hear our prayer, 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 bless us as well.
So this week's Torah portion is Bahalatcha. Rabbi Singer spoke about it last week because she mistakenly mixed up the dates. So I remember at the beginning of the service, she said she was talking about next week's portion, and she'll explain why. I don't think she explained why, but that's what happened. So instead, I could just stop here, ask everyone to watch last week's video and go on, play some more music, but instead I'm going to comment on aspects of the Parsha that she didn't discuss. Okay? There's actually quite a bit that occurs in this Parsha. So it takes place when the Israelites are camped out in the desert at Mount Sinai, where they had been for about a year. During that year, Moses had 2 trips up the mountain of 40 days and 40 nights each. At the end of this Parsha, the Israelites are just setting off to continue on their 40-year hike through the desert. Bahalatcha means when you mount the lamps, which is referring to the menorah in the tent of meeting. God asks Moses to have Aaron place 7 lamps in the menorah. Rabbi Singer spoke about that last week, about the menorah. God also asks Moses to appoint the Levites to serve as assistants under Aaron and his sons, and provides detailed instructions on how to purify the Levites so that they can serve in the tent of meeting. Furthermore, Moses is instructed to offer a Passover sacrifice annually on a specific date. He's also told to offer a second sacrifice 1 month later for anyone who was impure at the time of the first sacrifice. So he's trying to make sure everybody gets to be part of a sacrifice. The Parsha continues with instructions on how the Israelites should march by following a cloud that settles on the tabernacle each evening, giving the appearance of fire at night. When the cloud moves, they follow it and set up camp wherever it stops. He's also given detailed instructions to make silver trumpets to signal the military about when to assemble for a meeting and how to organize the various troops by tribe. And this parsha shows the high degree of organization needed to lead 600,000 people through the desert. It was not an easy task. Then, after all of these detailed instructions are provided, the parsha provides two stories about the wrath of God. The basic idea is that you should not complain or God gets quite irate. The theme appears many other times in the Torah as well. In the first example, the people are given manna to eat, which needs to be prepared by grinding it up, boiling it in a pot, and then making cakes that taste like rich cream. Each night when the dew fell on the camp, the manna would fall on the dew. The people were not happy eating just manna, however. They said, if only we had meat to eat. We remember the fish that we used to eat free in Egypt, the cucumbers, the melons, the leeks, the onions, and the garlic. Now our gullets are shriveled. There's nothing at all, nothing but this manna to look to. If only we had meat to eat. Indeed, we were better off in Egypt. We can probably all emphasize with this, as food's a very important part of Jewish culture. But God is not pleased to hear complaints. God tells Moses to gather 70 elders to share the burden of leadership with Moses. God then promises them enough meat to eat for a whole month until it comes out of your nostrils and becomes loathsome to you, for you have rejected the eternal by whining. Then God makes good on this promise by stirring up a wind that sweeps quail from the sea and deposits them on the ground all around the camp, covering a day's journey worth of ground and being 2 cubits deep, which is about 3 feet. So that's a lot of birds. Those who ate gluttonously, however, died in a plague caused by the angry God. And they were buried at Kivrot HaTa'ava, the graves of appetite. So Rashi explains that these deaths continued until the quail had been provided for 1 month, demonstrating that such a miraculous provision was indeed possible, but it did not satisfy the complainers. I bet that's the last time they complained about the food. The second example is when Miriam, Moses' sister, speaks to Aaron negatively about Moses' wife, saying he married a Cushite woman. Cushite refers to someone from Ethiopia who's thus presumably a dark-skinned woman. It's not clear if this wife is Zipporah or another woman, and various commentators all have their own opinion about who this is, this Cushite woman. But most agree that the reason for Miriam's displeasure with her is not that she is black, but that Moses is not willing to have conjugal relations with her. In the Midrash, it's inferred by Miriam because the woman began to neglect her personal appearance as though she no longer needed to make herself attractive to Moses. So Miriam's complaining occurred in the tent, and when God heard this, God came down to the tent entrance in a pillar of cloud and called for Aaron and Miriam to come outside. God tells them that God is upset because they spoke badly of God's chosen servant, Moses. After God leaves, Miriam is stricken with snow-white scales, interpreted by some to be leprosy. This is the same Miriam that had waited by the Nile to watch over her baby brother in the Ark of Reeds. Aaron, however, is not punished, which might be because although he was wrong not to call out Miriam for her comments, he did not make them himself, or other commentators say it's possibly due to the fact that if he were to become impure, he would not be able to carry out his priestly duties. But Moses doesn't accept the punishment of Miriam, and he cries out to God to please heal his sister. So God compromises and agrees to have Miriam shut out of the camp for 7 days, but then be allowed to return. Soon after her return, the Israelites are again on the move. Now, the common theme in these two examples is that the God of the Torah is unforgiving and has a short temper when perceiving any wrongdoing by the Israelites. He kills some of his own people because of their complaints about manna and gluttonous behavior, and gives a horrible disease to Miriam because of Lashon Hara. But is this the way we think of God today? Our modern version of God is more one like a God of compassion, a personal God, a forgiving God. So what has changed? Has God evolved from biblical times to the present, or have we evolved in how we understand God? Now, according to Mordecai Kaplan, the founder of the Reconstructionist movement, Judaism is actually an evolving religious civilization. The concept is that Judaism must retain the purpose of us being a people in the image of God. Thus, our concept of God must change over time to be compatible with modern ethics. As Reform and Reconstructionist Jews, we already do not follow the literal 613 commandments in the Torah, but we adapt them to the present time and follow only those that are meaningful to us. In contrast to the events in this week's Parsha, it is not normal, and it's now normal, and it's even expected for Jews to complain, right? We all complain. Even if it's God that we're complaining about, we can complain. And we don't get stricken. Also, for example, if we go to a restaurant and we order chicken, but it tastes like cream, you would complain and the restaurant manager wouldn't kill you, but presumably he'd offer you something else. Yet, during our 40 years in the desert, God would not suffer complainers and even put them to death. Also, although we know it's wrong to gossip and wrong to be secretly critical of a relative, you wouldn't think that acquiring a deadly disease would be the appropriate punishment. In fact, we have a prescribed process for doing teshuvah to obtain forgiveness for acts committed against another person. So Kaplan goes on to argue that the early biblical Jews were expected to have direct knowledge of God, such as seeing fire as a warning of something bad and clouds as road signs to follow. In later times and modern times, the expectation has been changed to be one of faith in God, although I would add that faith must be coupled with indirect knowledge gained from studying Torah. Right? We don't directly observe God, but we do study about God. If you have direct knowledge, then you would know that the biblical God's perspective of right from wrong, and you'd expect harsh punishments to be appropriate. But now we think of God as otherworldly, not being involved in our day-to-day activities, and not meting out punishments when sins are committed. God is now considered our creator, our source of life that we could connect to spiritually for comfort, and not a source of retribution in this life. Thus, Jewish views of God have changed dramatically from the biblical era to the present. Kaplan states that the word God is no longer a substantive noun like dog, kiddush cup, or car, which refer to a specific thing. In the Bible, God refers to a specific thing. Instead, God is a functional noun, like teacher or rabbi. In this way, although we can take lessons from the substantive God of the Torah, a functional God allows us the freedom to reject ideas that conflict with our modern sensibilities, such as slavery, the death penalty, or the treatment of women, which are all described in the Torah. Instead, we could learn from the God of the Torah, but those teachings and our interpretations of them need to be adjusted as we and our world change. This is the way in which modern Judaism can rationalize God's behavior in the Torah with our present-day ethical values. Now I'd like to call up Lori to do the announcements as our board member.
Shabbat Shalom. Welcome. We have one announcement. Summer services in Onags. Summer Shabbat services will be moving to Fridays at 7 p.m. starting in July. We will be hosting potluck Onags with different themes throughout the summer starting July 8th. The first theme will be Bring Your Favorite Cookie. So that's it. So everybody come and bring cookies. And that will include the family service. The family service, it's all services through the summer will be at 7 p.m. So we don't get that mixed up. I'll take this with me.
Okay. Thank you very much. Does anybody else have an announcement to make? Not even Carol Lee, huh? Anybody on Zoom have an announcement to make? Okay, not many announcements. I'll mention one thing. We are planning to do an outdoor service this summer with food. The date is not quite settled yet, but that's one thing to look forward to as well. I'd like to ask Lynn and Gina to please come up and open the Ark for the Elenu. You guys thought you were going to get away with it without doing anything. The Elenu is in the back cover of the books. Yeah. Yeah.
Caution. Okay. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula leotzeh breshit, shelo asanu kegoye haratzot, velo samanu kemishpachot hadama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד ארץ ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל ושכינתו זו בגובהי מרומים הוא אלוהינו אין עוד אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו ככתוב בתורתו וידעת היום והשבות אל לבבך כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד ככתוב בתורתך אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Our thoughts now turn to those who are no longer with us. There's nobody on this list for Shiva or Shaloshim, but does anybody out here have a name they'd like to recite for Shiva or Shaloshim the first 30 days or the first year of mourning? Thank you. Okay, Edith Tanizaki, first year. First 30 days, Judith Cohn. First year, Elena Archibek Farris. Recently departed, Russ Applin, Terry Sion. First year, Alan Pasternak and Myrna Pavelak. The Mourner's Kaddish can be found on page 598. Please rise as we think of those who perished in the Holocaust and have no one to say the Kaddish for them. And, oh, thank you. I almost forgot the yard site list. Thank you. Sorry. Good thing you're here. Yeah, okay. So we are commemorating the yard sites of Edith Ziskind, Anita Marks Tallenfeld, Ray K. Hepps, Jane Dummeyer, Ida Francis Hurwitz, Ken Morgan, Harry Kellner, Shirley Wellington, Joan Winston, Matilda Farber, Hyman Quasman, Gustave Grokoff, Richard Rorty, Eleanor Cassani, Betty Morgan, Glenn Wanakata, Rose S. Hirsch, Faye Birkenwald, Katie Connell, Samuel Frankel, Katie Connell, Samuel Frankel, Charlotte Cohn, Samuel Plotkin, Dr. Harris Cannell, Julia Shear, Esther Perlman, Jenny Spitzer, Edna Olson, Gertrude Willen, and Gunter Sultan. Anybody else have a name for a yard site? Okay. We also think about those lost in the fighting in Ukraine and in Europe now. And we recite the Mourner's Kaddish together. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, v'yalma divrah hirute v'yamlich malchute, b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye dechal beit Yisrael, ba'gala uv'izman koriv v'yimru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mavorach le'olam olmei olmaya, yitbarach v'yishtabak v'yitpoar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, V'yit hadar, v'yit halev, v'yit halal, shemei dekudashah brichu, le'elah min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran b'yalma v'yimru amen. Yehei shlomo rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'yimru amen. And now our closing song is going to be the other song that we recorded with Rena and Morris, Miriam's song. And this is the same Miriam I spoke with, but it's a more upbeat version of Miriam.
Happy Miriam. I think he's starting on a C. There you go. There you go. Okay, before we start, let's thank our band. Thank the band. Thank the band. I want to thank Jory and Jory Yarmoff, Professor Yarmoff, my friend Jory, my wonderful friend Jory, instrumentalist Jory, keyboard Jory, Rabbi Jory, board member Jory, and this Jory. They give him a round. Come on, there's 18 of him up here. And the rest of us, you all know Rena, who grew up in this temple. So happy to have her back for the summer. Adam Perlstein, who joined us on percussion tonight. Thank you, Adam, on short notice, too. Thank you so much.
And Dad.
And the tech tonight, Nick and Asher. Hey, guys, they're in the back, the unsung heroes to the outside world out there in cyberspace. And myself, I'm Morris. You all know me. Okay, there we go. Now we can do Miriam's song in C. Sorry. Go ahead.
Forgot a few things.
That's all right. You gotta get up there. There you go. Gotta turn it on.
And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. And Miriam was a weaver of unique variety. The tapestry she wove was one which sang our history. With every strand and every thread she crafted her delight. A woman touched with spirit, she dances toward the light. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women
and dance the whole night long.
When Miriam stood upon the shores and gazed across the sea, the wonder of this miracle she soon came to believe. Whoever thought the sea would part with an outstretched hand, and we would pass to freedom and march to the promised land.
And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long.
And Miriam the prophet took her timbrel in her hand, and all the women followed her just as she had planned. And Miriam raised her voice in song, she sang with praise and might. We've just lived through a miracle, we're going to dance tonight.
And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long.
Thank you. Grab the bread for the motzi. Hey, that was fun.
All right. I think Amy and Elliot, you're doing the Oneg tonight. Were you? Oh, you provided the resources for the Oneg tonight.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. And let's do the motzi so we can get out there and have a snack. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz, we give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Woohoo! Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom.
All right, thanks so much, Reens. That was great. That was fun. Hey, thanks so much, Adam.
Short notice, the percussionist.